Therefore, please precisely describe all the activities and pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is full of self desire and who assumes all these activities by his internal potency. So, Shaunakrishi speaking, he is speaking to Suta Goswami. In the previous verse, he says, Shaunak continued, there is no one who knows more than the Lord himself. No one is more worshipable or more mature a yogi than he. He is therefore the master of the Vedas, and to hear about him always is the actual pleasure of the senses. So, here this verse starts with therefore. Therefore, please precisely describe. So that means there is a context before this. What is the context? Exact context is to hear about him always is the actual pleasure of the senses. Therefore, please precisely describe. So, first, Shaunakrishi is giving the background of the glories of the Lord and about hearing the glories of the Lord. Sri Shaunak said, although he is unborn, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took birth as Kapila Muni by his internal potency. He descended to disseminate transcendental knowledge for the benefit of the whole human race. Right? And there is no one who knows more than the Lord himself. No one is more worshipable or more mature a yogi than he. He is therefore the master of the Vedas, and to hear about him always is the actual pleasure of senses. So first is the glories of the Lord. Now, how the glory has to be narrated. Therefore, please precisely describe. Right? So, Shaunakrishi understands that Suta Goswami, he is capable of precisely describing the glories of the Lord, and Suta Goswami has precisely heard from his spiritual master Shukdev Goswami. So very interestingly, in Bhagavatam, sages of Naimisharanya, they have assembled for 1,000-year yajna, and this yajna is Sankirtan yajna. In that Sankirtan yajna, it is headed by Shaunakrishi. There, Suta Goswami arrives and they place Suta Goswami. They offer Suta Goswami the Vyasasana. And then they glorify. How Suta Goswami is glorified? Because Prabhupada says, Anukirtya means to follow the description, not to create a concocted mental description, but to follow. Shaunak Rishi requested Suta Goswami to describe what he had actually heard from his spiritual master Shukdev Goswami. So, in the first canto, first chapter, there the sages were assembled, headed by Shaunak Rishi. They are glorifying Suta Goswami with some choicest words, and they are glorifying his learning, his attitude, his devotion, and the way he is blessed by his spiritual masters. The sages said, respected Suta Goswami, you are completely free from all vice. That is how he is able to precisely describe. You are well versed in all the scriptures famous for religious life, and in the Puranas and the histories as well. For you have gone through them under proper guidance and have also explained them. So Suta Goswami has learned it properly. He is free from vice. Vice is all bad behavior. Vice means bad behavior, bad culture, bad habits, bad conduct. So he is free from all these. Then well versed in the scriptures. Which are the scriptures specified? Famous for religious life. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, these are the scriptures which are famous for religious life. Okay, and particularly is written in the Puranas and the histories as well. So there is specific mention of Puranas. Why? Because they want to hear from him Bhagavad Purana. So they are listing out what are your glories, free from vice, well versed in the scriptures, learn them under proper guidance, and also explained. Next, they continue. Being the eldest learned Vedantist, O Sud Goswami, you are acquainted with the knowledge of Vyasadeva, who is the incarnation of Godhead. And you also know other sages who are fully versed in all kinds of physical and metaphysical knowledge. Another qualification is Vyasadeva is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Vyasadeva has given Vedanta Sutra, Vedanta Krit, Veda Vide Chaha. Vedanta Sutra concludes in Bhakti, and that's how Prabhupada got the title Bhakti Vedanta, because Prabhupada drew and presented the conclusion from the Vedanta. So, Sutta Goswami is not just well versed with the philosophy of Bhakti, but he also knows other sages who are fully versed in all kinds of physical and metaphysical knowledge. So, Sutta Goswami knows what is Bhakti and what is not Bhakti. So, he is free from illusion of dummy Bhakti or pretending Bhakti or non-Bhakti. Sometimes people mistake many things to be Bhakti, which are not actually Bhakti. Right? So, Sutta Goswami knows the positive side and the negative side both. Then further, how Sutta Goswami is glorified. And because you are submissive, another qualification of Sutta Goswami, as he is able to precisely describe. How you are able to precisely describe? You are learned, you are well versed in the scriptures, Puranas and scriptures that give the essence of life. Then you have gone through them under proper guidance. You are free from all vice. You have followed the path of Vyasadeva. Now, and because you are submissive, your spiritual masters have endowed you with all the favors bestowed upon a gentle disciple. So you are not just learned, but you are blessed by them. That is how you can precisely describe. So he is free from any kind of false ego. Right? Because he is submissive. Submissiveness means following the parampara as it is. Not giving one's own interpretation, not giving one's own idea. Not, here Prabhupada very clearly says, not to create a concocted mental description. As you have received, exactly that is how you are going to present. Plus, you have the blessings of your spiritual masters. Therefore, you can tell us that all that you have scientifically learned from them. Therefore, you can tell us all that you have scientifically learned from them. Now he is repeating here again, Shaunak Rishi. Therefore, please precisely describe all the activities and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. So, these are the qualifications required to preach the message as it is. One who does not preach the message as it is, Prabhupada says he is not a teacher, he is a cheater. In perfect question, perfect answer, when there is a conversation. So Prabhupada says, if you don't know and you are teaching, then you are a cheater, you are not a teacher. No, I know. Then Bob Cohen says, I know partly. What is partly? That means you don't know. Right? You know half, but remaining half you don't know. Then how you can teach the subject? So, one has to be well versed, one has to know the other side. Like we said, do's and don'ts. So if one knows the do's, one should also know the don'ts. Like that, if one knows the bhakti, one should also know what is not bhakti. Prabhupada says in 6th chapter Purport, see somebody who Prabhupada explains, the culmination of all kinds of yoga practices lies in bhakti yoga. Somebody who is just practicing, is chanting, doing arti, sadhana at home, offering food, doing some service in the temple. For him, it's very simple. Just practice these things, sincerely practice, render some service, whatever you can contribute as service or donation to temple you do. His way is clear. But when somebody takes up missionary activity and he decides to, dedicate his life for serving Prabhupada's mission as a full-time missionary, then essentially and inevitably preaching element comes in. And to become an effective preacher, like Prabhupada's cooking is also preaching, DT Bashir is also preaching, but when somebody is presenting philosophy to convince others, then Prabhupada says now, the culmination of all kinds of yoga practices lies in Bhakti Yoga. All other yogas are but means to come to the point of Bhakti in Bhakti Yoga. Yoga actually means Bhakti Yoga. All other yogas are progressions towards the destination of Bhakti Yoga. Then Prabhupada explains the progressive path of yogas. From the beginning of Karma Yoga to the end of Bhakti Yoga is a long way to self-realization. Karma Yoga without fruitive results is the beginning of this path. When Karma Yoga increases in knowledge and renunciation, the stage is called Jnana Yoga. When Jnana Yoga increases in meditation on the super soul by different physical processes and the mind is on him, it is called Ashtanga Yoga. And when one surpasses the Ashtanga Yoga and comes to the point of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is called Bhakti Yoga, the culmination. Now Prabhupada says, factually, Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal, but to analyze Bhakti Yoga minutely, one has to understand these other yogas. Right? So simply I am chanting, I am happy, I am doing my service. Okay. But somebody who has to minutely understand Bhakti Yoga, the intricacies of Bhakti Yoga, this is what the sages are saying. You are acquainted with the knowledge of Vyasadeva, who is the incarnation of Godhead, and you also know other sages who are fully versed in all kinds of physical and metaphysical knowledge. So you know the other paths also. The Shadnyaya Darshan. So, different sages have presented different philosophies. Now, different sages have presented different philosophies. What is Bhakti and what is not Bhakti? To analyze Bhakti minutely, to come to pure devotional service, conclusion of pure devotional service. This is Bhakti. One has to understand all these words. Sometimes people say, हम भी बहुत बड़े भक्त हैं. You'll see so many people, at least here in Gujarat. हम भी बहुत बड़े भक्त हैं, हर पूनम को द्वारका जाते हैं. So yes, at one level they are bhakt, no doubt they are bhakt. Taking effort and going all the way to Dwarka to take Lord's darshan is bhakti. But what is the standard of pure devotional service set by Lord in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavata? Right? There is a big gap. So, he is also called a bhakt. He is also called a bhakt. But to understand what actually Lord wants, what is the definition, what is the meaning, import of bhakti given by Lord, one has to understand what all other things are not bhakti which have to be removed. Right? That is how and that is why understanding the subject matter is so important. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says to understand Siddhanta one should not be lazy. Isn't it? So one should put effort, one should put some effort, one should take some trouble to invest his intelligence in understanding Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, literatures given by Prabhupada. So first is this part. Second part is now to follow the description. Anukirtaya means to follow the description, not to create a concocted mental description, but to follow. Means to present as it is. Anu means to follow. Anusaran, Anukaran, like that we say, that is to follow. So Anukirtaya, as it has been glorified by the Parampara, by the Acharyas, by Prabhupada, same thing we repeat further. So sometimes it may happen. We may know very limited, but we should always be confident and we should always have that a feeling of pride that we know as it is. Even though I don't know much, I know very little, whatever I know, but I know correctly from parampara. That should be confidence. Pride means not the boasting pride, but the confidence that yes, I am learning from parampara, I am learning from authorized source. Right? Sometimes people ask, can you please tell us what is Gopi Bhava? No, I don't know. Doesn't matter. But whatever I know, Maam Ekam Sharanam Veda, I know it authentically. There are people who interpret Maam Ekam Sharanam Veda. Don't surrender to Krishna, surrender to the light inside Krishna. Isn't it? So at least we know little, but we know whatever is authorized and authentic. Now the duty is to present it as it is. It requires lot of sattva. Right? To present things as it is, to present things honestly, it requires lot of sattva. Because Rajoguna, Tamoguna means ignorance. That is just concocting. Tamoguna means to create knowledge. One principle of knowledge is knowledge can never be created. Either it is there or it is not there. You cannot create knowledge. Knowledge means to know something. That is called knowledge. So either the thing is there or the thing is not there. You cannot create knowledge. Jnanis, they create knowledge. How Jnanis create knowledge? They screw out meaning. They created a knowledge that there is one Atma inside Krishna and you have to surrender into it. It is created. This is not existing. Knowledge means you understand what is there. Knowing things as they are, that is knowledge. So, these Jnanis, they create knowledge. Okay? Now, this is symptom of Rajoga. Naso Muni Yasya Matamna Bhinnam. One is not called a Muni unless his opinion differs from other Muni. Right? Another intellectual person. So, this is Rajoga. Everybody in this world wants to be center of attraction. We came from spiritual world to material world to become center of attraction. So for us only two opulences are there. Recently we were discussing in our Gita training also. We are left with only two opulences, Jnana and Vairagya. In that also we want to be center of attraction. By exhibiting Vairagya, then how Vairagi, how Tapasvi, how austere he is. Right? And second is by exhibiting knowledge. How knowledgeable he is. How nicely he presents. So all these things, Jnana and Vairagya are our attraction. So if you fall prey to this, Jnana and Vairagya, because there are also 6 qualities that attract and the Supreme Lord. So all these 6 qualities are attractive. Knowledge is also attractive, and Vairagya, renunciation, correct, that is also attractive. When one falls into a trap of attraction to knowledge, he always wants to present something fancy, which will appeal to people, which will attract people, and which is different from the masses or the trend. This is the disease. Prabhupada says the disease is you people always want to create something. Just follow what I have given. Why do you want to create? So this is the disease. So the disease is we want to present something in a very fanciful way. For that sometimes we will bring out some analogies, examples which may not be relevant, which may not be suitable for the context, which may give a different meaning. But just because it's, I brought it, I created it, I invented it. That I of creation, of invention, of enjoyment, this is the trap. Professor, there are two false egos. One is I am the creator and I am the enjoyer. So we want to create knowledge like this. So it requires great deal of sattva, great deal of confidence in Prabhupada's words, that if I follow just Prabhupada's words, I can handle things. I can preach well, I can understand well, and that is complete. It requires great deal of sattva. Right? Otherwise, we start hearing from here and there, we start researching here and there, just to add some spice, add some masala, add some lucrative things to that, which may not be based on our gunas. What we have picked, what is appealing to us, may not be as per parampara, as per the Shastrical conclusion. Right? We find some research in Google or elsewhere. So many things. what we want to preach. Sometimes things are not suitable. They may appeal, they may look like Shastrik, but it is from Purana. This quote is from this Purana. That quote is from that Purana. But has it been translated in Parampara? Has it been translated by pure devotee who knows the Shastra? How can we say that the translation of that quote or that verse from some Purana is authentic? Right? See, in Bhagavad Gita, very nicely, you see, we have discussed in past also. 4th chapter, there is a verse, Brahmarpanam Brahma Havi Brahmagno Brahmana Hutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhi. This verse has 6 times word Brahma. Like Brahma Arpanam, Brahma Havi, Brahmagno, Brahmana Hutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam, and Brahma Karma Samadhi. In the word to word meaning, this word Brahma, first word to word meaning of Brahma is spiritual nature. Second word to word meaning is the supreme. Nature is Shakti, supreme is Shaktiman. Totally different meaning. Nature means Prakriti. Then third Brahma is the spirit soul. Fourth Brahma is spiritual kingdom. Fifth Brahma is spiritual, and again sixth Brahma is spiritual. So, same word. Anybody can argue, no, here this Brahma means this. Here that Brahma means this. Right? So it is very easy to argue. See, Brahma, I am putting Brahma meaning in Brahma word. But which Brahma? 6 times Brahma is being used. In that, first Brahma means what? Second Brahma means what? Third Brahma means what? Only a pure devotee can tell. Right? In Parampara only we can receive and understand this. This is the danger. Right? This is the danger. So, we should be very, very careful, right, in quoting from anywhere other than what Prabhupada has quoted. It may sound, say this similar verse happens to be in some other Purana, some other literature, right, which is supporting Bhakti. But who has translated it? How it has been translated? And how do we know that this Brahma is talking about Supreme Lord? Somebody can interpret it talking about the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Then we start discussing, why it has been translated, why this Purana says that Brahma Jyoti is supreme. How do you know that this is Brahma Jyoti or its supreme personality God or its soul or its spiritual kingdom? Here we know very clearly because Prabhupada has given. Prabhupada has directly given through the Parampara system. So we can very confidently go by this. So when we are preaching, it's our responsibility, it's a responsibility of preacher to present things as they are. And this is what, therefore, please precisely describe. If you don't know, we don't know. Better say, I don't know. Like, at least we don't do disservice to the Lord or, to Guru by preaching something wrong. Like, we don't know means we don't know. Nobody is expected to know everything. Everybody, most of us here in the class, we would have finished reading Bhagavad Gita, we would have finished reading Bhagavatam, maybe some CC or some maybe still reading, some might have finished. How much do we remember from there? Right? How much do we remember from there? If say somebody read Bhagavad Gita, he can confidently say, I remember 30% of what I have read. Bhagavatam, we can say 10% of what I have read. Right? So it's not expected that everybody remembers entire thing. But whatever we present, we should be confident that yes, I have read it in Prabhupada's teachings, I have heard it from Prabhupada, then only I am presenting. So that is a responsibility. As a preacher, it is a responsibility, right, to present as it is. So here Suta Goswami is being addressed with these qualities. So we should see how many of these qualities are there within us. How much are we submissive in hearing with rapt attention, right? Hearing with submissive mood. Hearing to learn, not to preach. We are hearing to learn. Right? Remaining part Paramatma does. Before preacher, we are sadhakas. Right? In Gurukul, we are sadhakas. We are preacher is our service. But our profile, our position in the Guru's ashram is of a student, disciple. So our mood should be of learning, not should be of preaching. Preaching is a service assigned, right? And learning is a constitutional duty of a disciple. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Pariprashna, that learning is a constitutional duty of a disciple. Service may change today or tomorrow. But the position of being Guru's servant, position of being a learner from the Guru never changes. Like as long as one is the Guru. So our mood should be this. Right? And regarding preaching, to convince somebody, we should depend on Paramatma also. We should do our best part of conveying Krishna's words, Prabhupada's words, and we should depend on Paramatma. Just to convince him, we put some fancy idea, some fancy narrations. That is not actually preaching, that is not right. Because tomorrow what we said, if it's not coming in parampara, may hold good, may not hold good. And it may come back to us in a very negative way. So, being a responsible preacher, to become a responsible preacher, first we should become a responsible student. Purpose is without being a pure devotee, one cannot talk about Krishna perfectly, one cannot hear about Krishna perfectly. Prabhupada in the beginning of first canto, he says, Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, they are both eligible for Kirtanam and Shravanam, because both are pure devotees. So the more we become purer, not just by following the rules, regulations and sadhana, also by having this mindset of taking only from Prabhupada the purest knowledge, safest knowledge. In this way, our attitude becomes pure. I will take only from Prabhupada. Then our attitude becomes pure. Then purity becomes force. Right? So, these are the qualities of Sudha Goswami, based on which Shaunak Rishi is inquiring from him about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, we can understand the position of Sudha Goswami. He is going to speak about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Shaunak, great sages like Shaunak Adi Rishi, they are asking you, please tell us. Right? So, based on what qualities? These are the qualities. He is submissive, he is learned, right? He is blessed by his spiritual masters, he is free from vices. He has learned and he has preached, he is well versed, he knows the tattva and the non-tattva also. So, here is a standard for us, how much we can cultivate these qualities what Sudha Goswami has. To effectively convey the message of Lord Krishna, message of Prabhupada to others. And we'll stop here. Granthashram Bhagavatam ki ichha hai. So Prabhupada ki ichha hai.